We're going to keep working on the office trailer today. Last time we got all the electrical work done in the walls, so now I'm going to be working on insulation. The first thing I have to do is scrounge around and see how much insulation we have left over from previous jobs, and then we'll make a list of how much more we need to buy. So let's pull out the insulation and do whatever we can do before we shop. Okay, we found 1.5 rolls left over, so I'm going to start cutting those down. I'm not a big fan of this insulation. You see how skinny this is? It doesn't fluff up very well. I might have to mention it again. We are putting the insulation backwards because where we are in the south, the warm, humid side is on the outside, and that's where we want our vapor retarder, is facing the outside. This will also help isolate the insulation from touching directly to the aluminum siding. So that's the way it goes, backwards. I'm just going to tuck it behind the electrical box. It's a shallow box, and that's the easiest way to deal with that. But I still will split it around the wire. This stuff's really getting my throat. But luckily, fiberglass insulation is generally considered biosoluble. So within about 10 days or so, any fibers that get inside my lungs or inside my body, they should dissolve, break down by your body, and be gone. Let me keep going. I think I can get one more piece out of this. Oh, guys, I'm telling you, this is some of the flattest, poor quality insulation I've worked with. This brand, this Johns Mansfield, whatever it is, terrible. If you work with other insulation, you'll know what I mean. It puffs up nicely, other stuff, not this stuff. I can't get any life into this. It says R13 on the bats, but I'll tell you what, this is probably about a R9, R5. It's pretty sad. When the insulation is going in this sloppy, you see how much stud is showing? And it's because it's not puffing up good. And yeah, I can fake it out, but that's just leaving gaps behind it. You get what I mean? There's no life in here, which means we're not getting R value. R value is all about inches. I think I'm going to stop there, and we'll get some better insulation. I'll count how many bays we need to fill, and we'll go pick it up. After some long, hard thought, I finally made a decision. We've made a decision as a family of what kind of lighting to put in the mini mobile building right here that we are renovating and converting into a usable space. You guys know what's going on. So I last left you with trying to plan out what kind of ceiling lights we wanted in this room. We are going to be doing canless LED recessed lighting. Decided on 6-inch lights. Originally I was thinking 4-inch lights, but then I decided 6 inch is better because we could do less of them and light up the space. I'm actually going to do 6 of them. I might be able to get away with less than that, but we want it as even as we can, so I'm going to do two rows of 3. And right now is all about figuring out exactly where each one's going to go so that we can install the driver box and wire the wires to each light. Okay. I have all my drivers installed, and that's what runs the LED lights. So now that I have those in place, I can run my wiring to them when it comes straight out of the switch, hit all the lights. I know some people talked about putting them on multiple switches. We're going to go one switch, keep it easy. And if we want dim light, we'll plug in a lamp. Well, not too much more to see right now, but we just got done all the wiring to the boxes. So I'm going to start insulating the ceiling because I'm sick of these falling down. So what we're going to do is pull out some new insulation. We're leaving the old insulation, but we want to thicken it up. So I'm going to be pushing more insulation up there, and we're going to be putting straps to hold it all up. Hopefully this all looks a lot neater and more finished when it's done and not so messy and falling apart. Well guys, that went pretty well, pretty quick, better than expected. The ceiling looks good. We put a couple of straps up here to help the insulation stop falling, and it was pretty straightforward. In case you're wondering, I put an R19 unfaced up there. There was R19 up there, so I doubled it up. The stuff on top isn't that great, it's kind of loose, there's gaps, that's not true. But that'd be R38 altogether if it was done well. It'll be fine. It's good for this trailer. We doubled what was up there. I think I'm going to do some of the walls. I have to say some of the walls because we're not ready to do them all, and I'll show you why. But let's break open a new bundle of insulation. These are R13, and we'll start doing the rest of the walls in here that we can do. This isn't the fix, but I'm gonna patch a piece of flashing tape over this hole before I put the insulation in. Let me give you guys a little progress update. First of all, wow, what a difference in sound it is in here. It's very quiet. We got insulation pretty much all the way around. And I just finished up all the little odds and ends, little bits and pieces, but I've been avoiding this area right here. You might have seen that. And that is because I needed to do some framing in that area before I can put insulation in. And I've been waiting for this. Just came today. So let me assemble this unit and I'll show you what it is and what we have to do. Well guys, this is getting cool because we just built something that I've never installed before, and honestly the instructions leave a lot to be desired. This is a wall sleeve for a through-the-wall air conditioning unit. I decided that for this room, mini splits are just overkill. That was my original idea, is how are we going to heat and cool this space? And I was thinking, oh, we'll have to do mini splits. But then I thought, wait a minute, this space isn't that big, and there are options that are easier and less expensive. So I don't think I'm going to go too far into it right now. We'll talk about it when we get to that install. But basically, through the wall air conditioning unit is the same thing as a window unit, but through the wall. That way our windows aren't being damaged and we still have access to them. But we have air conditioning, and I do want to buy one with supplemental heat. So my main concern is keeping the space cooled. If we need more than supplemental heat during the winter, we can bring a space heater into the room, and that is why I wired up all the outlets with 12 gauge wires so that we'd be able to easily handle running space heaters if needed. So this is my first time doing a through the wall AC. Apparently you have to buy a sleeve to put in the wall first. So I got the sleeve, we built the sleeve. Oh yeah. Guys, the storm is brewing. It's really getting windy out. I got to get that insulation off the ground. So let me say this quick. We built the sleeve so that I can look at it and see how big the hole in my wall needs to be. And I will be mounting it right here. So now I have to build a box to hold this 26 inches by 15.5 inches. And we're just going to start right into that. That's what I'm working on. Whatever. That's as far as I can go with that. So that's really all the cutting out I need to do for now. Now I need to build in my frame. Now I didn't plan this out very well, did I? Because I ran wires on this stud right where this cross member needs to be. So now I'm running into this problem of how to deal with this. Two options. I could notch this wood to go around the wire, or I can move the wire. Where I want it to be in the wall. Once I get this all lined up to the exact spot that I want, then I'll screw it all together. We're running out of time, guys, but we're trying to get this job done. We just got our box secure. There it is. That's where the AC is going to be. This will eventually slide right through the wall right there. We'll get it attached in and we'll install the AC unit in this. I'm not ready for that yet. There's no point cutting a big hole in the wall, but now I can insulate around that. That's what I was working toward. And we're just gonna get this done so we can clean up and be done with it. I'll see how I get around that wire. And with that, we are done. Just tidied up all the little bits and pieces I have left to put in. And now I'm going to do a quick cleanup. I'll show you guys the room and we'll call it quits. All right, guys, we're done. Just got everything cleaned up. This project took a lot longer than I expected because I had to reroute those wires, and everything turned out good in the end. Sometimes you can't be afraid of going back to redo things that you've done. You don't always think of everything the first time through, and you just have to work with it. So I was able to avoid all of that and got it in. The AC might seem a little high in the wall. I see a lot of people mount them lower, but I wanted it up a little higher. I feel like it's going to do better for cooling if it's up at like head level where you're in the living zone here. But also I didn't want it too high that you couldn't reach the controls. So I tried finding that happy balance of, there it is, good height. And I think this is going to be a better solution for this space than mini splits. It's an all-in-one contained unit. It's an AC. We don't have to run condensate lines. We don't have to set up a pedestal or a base outside. We don't have to do anything. It's just going to be here hooked to the building. I like that. I put it on the end here because The end is the only wall with solid sheathing, so it's going to be a better surface, I feel like, to mount everything to and to flash the outside. But also, I didn't want anything sticking out the front, the sides, because this is a trailer. It's a mobile home style trailer. So if we ever decide to sell it, transport it, we want to make sure that it can travel without things sticking out the sides of it. So that's why the end is the ideal spot. Nothing else to say about that. Oh, this is the outlet. That is the power for that unit. Hopefully that's in a good location. What else? Ceiling is done, looks excellent. Lights are installed. I think they're going to work. 6-inch lights are going to be, I think, nice and even and bright in here. The lights I chose, they do have a lumen setting, so I can make them brighter or dimmer. Like in the ceiling, we can set them for like 800 lumens, 1000, or 1200. So we can actually adjust the brightness. I don't think there's anything else to say. We had a huge amount of progress this week and just got so much done. Next step, I don't know, is ceiling. I think the next step is ceiling panels. We have to decide on a ceiling so we can start installing that. I think that's the next step. Nothing else we can do. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.